Arcane Odyssey. A popular MMORPG Roblox game well deserved its title as one of the best Roblox games, debatably. And there's a whole heck of a lot of lore Vtex was able to include in this seemingly random Roblox game, and it's an often discussed topic within the community. However, today, instead of focusing on the entire lore and story of Arcane Odyssey's universe, I want to focus on specific things rather than attempting to summarize the entire game's universe. To start off this possible lore series, depending on how well this video does, I want to talk about likely the most popular character Arcane Odyssey has for really unethical reasons. So, let's talk about Iris, the Anomaly. The player first encounters Iris as a boss fight at Frostmill Island, in order to solve the issue that the frozen structures Frostmill was first built on was melting away, and you, the player, is tasked with to resolve this issue. When you first encounter Iris, she clearly defines you as the threat sent by Ravenna to hunt you down and capture her for some reason. After defeating her, by asking her what the heck she was on about, she still assumes you are a bounty hunter trying to capture her for trying to destroy Frostmill. For context, Frostmill was under the authority of Ravenna, with banners you can clearly see when you first visit the island, which Iris clearly seems to despise for some reason. The reasoning on her hatred for Ravenna was in fact because she used to live there with her father roughly a month ago, according to her, and the soldiers there arrested him and they never spoke on why he was being arrested. Really, the only reason why she's all the way at Frostmill now is to discover why her father was arrested and his whereabouts. Once you finish talking to Iris, she leaves for Cirrus Island to find out more about Ravenna and where her father could possibly be and why he was arrested. The player then is tasked to journey to Cirrus Island to meet with Iris there. Then, to summarize the long events of Cirrus Island, Iris and you, the player, discover the order of, okay, forgive my pronunciation, Aesir? I'm just gonna say Aesir. The Order of Aesir, the mysterious organization whose main goal is to acquire sea curses, which explained by Lord Elias, who probably killed because this boss fight was really annoying as heck. Sea curses were basically really powerful magic, and only one exists for each magic type. I can't imagine a sea curse for paper magic. And the citizens of Ravenna, and Iris' father included, were likely arrested to be questioned, likely by the members of the Order of Aesir, because this is further confirmed by speaking with Septimus Revora and his soldiers who deserted Ravenna in the Shining Plains east of Ravenna. They gave some dialogue that they deserved the Bronze Legion of Ravenna after being ordered to kill innocent civilians that were brought in for questioning, and their families' lives were threatened if they didn't kill those civilians by hooded figures who were 99% likely to be the same hooded figures you discover who are Aesir members in the Forgotten Order quest. Getting back into Iris' lore and story, her and the player decide to split up, with Iris believing the Order of Aesir was somehow behind her father's arrest, which was confirmed. Iris heads to Silverhole to see if they know of any ships sailing west from Stepstones, while the player is tasked to go to Sailor's Lodge and ask the locals if they know anything about an Order of Aesir. This part of the story has kinda little to no connection with Iris up to a certain point, so to summarize, the player meets with Morden. Morden recognizes the symbol for the Order of Aesir, and you and Morden decide to infiltrate Fort Telos, Ravenna's separate fortress, to see if Aesir members were hiding inside. Then finally inside Fort Telos, the player eavesdrops on a conversation being had that furthermore confirms Iris' father along with citizens were executed, and General Argos was also confirmed to be an Order of Aesir member. Then the funny fight happens where the player gets spotted, and fast forward the events of Fort Telos, but the player makes it out, finds out Aesir members escaped to Ravenna, and a lot of unrelated Iris lore and story things happen. The player gets captured and forced into the eternal mines of Ravenna in a conversation with the man named Galio Bronze, who was a former emissary of the previous king of Ravenna. He tips you off of a really dark past of Ravenna, mainly that the first king, Nero Caesar, founded the Kingdom of Blood and War and completely destroyed the rival kingdom, Wintervale, by using his own curse power. But to rub even more salt in the wound, Nero built a fortress on top of Wintervale's graves, which mysteriously got destroyed in a gigantic explosion, and that fortress Nero built was known as Arcus' Keep, a story for another video. But what finally circles back to Iris and her father was the mention that the Ravenna royal family attempted to cover up Wintervale's complete and utter destruction by executing any Wintervale survivors they find. Very likely, Iris' father was likely one of those few Wintervale survivors who unfortunately got found out. So that fully explains Iris' father's arrest. He was a Wintervale survivor, got found out and arrested, and 99% likely killed. After the events of Ravenna and escaping on a ship to Woodrow Island, and with Iris now knowing the full story of the reason on her father's arrest, her entire goal of journeying across the Bronze Sea was to save her father, and now that he's officially gone, she feels completely lost, but is able to share that confusion and burden with the player and thanks them for helping her on her journey, and makes it canon that the player and Iris are friends, not lovers. Oh my goodness. But that's so far the lore and story of Iris, and much more is likely coming in the future with the Nimbus C storyline, and I personally love diving into Arcane Odyssey's lore. And if you personally want me to do more lore / story videos on characters or locations of Arcane Odyssey, please like the video and consider subscribing. And if you want to know more about Arcane Odyssey's most useless stat, check out this video.